Hello all, it's Melinda. We are on week 3 of the Chinese Whisper over at Mind the Scraps Facebook group, and this is the layout that Eileen has sent me for me to scrap lift from. Um, it has strips of paper in a row, and there's stitching on it. Can you see the stitching here and there? She's using one 4x6 photo about, and its layers underneath of it, and a one-word title with some splatter. I have chosen to make my life easier, to go with my slips, and I got pad slot 10, 6x6 paper pad, and brads. And so this is what I've pulled. I'm going to use 2 photos. This is of my daughter's chocolate lab. So I have 2 random photos of her. I've picked these 6x6 paper pads. I think I'm going to go with kind of a pink, black, and maybe this tealy color. Seems that I have a lot of that. So Shine, Crepe Paper Shine by Maggie Holmes, Crepe Paper Notes and Things, Jen Hatfield Homemade, and Crepe Paper Gather. I don't know if this is Maggie Holmes or just crepe paper. Kind of looks Maggie Holmes-ish, but I'm not sure. And so that's for the paper pads. And I figure that I can make the 6x6 work for strips. None of those look much more than 6 inches long, so I think it'll work. For pad slot 10, in that is Maggie Holmes Confetti, and I picked this one. I don't care that it has numbers on it, but I also thought a lot of these have this craft color in them, that I could pull these in for layers, and it's got the 7 one is big enough to go on as a layer. I thought that would work. So I'm going to choose that, and for the background, I'm going to go with, for my embossed white pad, I'm going to go with a dot background. Can you see that? Yeah, just so it has a little bit of texture in the background. I'm thinking for my title, I'm going to do Girl's Best Friend. This is Dear Lizzie Splendid. I've used these recently, and I like the scripty font for Best Friend. And maybe for girls, I'll use the Daily Flash, either the smaller ones or the Flash Alpha. This is Mason Jar. And for the brads, I've pulled Making My Mind's Eye, sorry, Now and Then. And these have some of the same colors in them, so I thought that this would work. I possibly might use, I just got this in the mail yesterday, Color Cast Designs. Photo Love, they're acrylic pieces, and this ampersand. I might use that, or these tablespoon per bag hearts. Now, why I thought this is the gold, kind of has a craft tone to it, so those might help if I scatter those about. We'll see, but I pulled them in just in case. All right, I'm going to stick you on fast forward, and so you can see the process, and then I can get this off to Lillian so she can scrap it for this week.
I start out by cutting this up.
I don't end up using all of it, but I cut it all up just in case. I sped this up quite a bit because it was kind of boring watching me cut all these little things. Now I'm just gonna throw some layers up. Just basically I want the colors. None of the numbers end up showing, and I don't cut anything. I just use it as it is. I want a little bit of black in there. I'm just going to start pulling what I think is what I want to use. I'm cutting them in less than an inch, between an inch and a half an inch and 3/4 inches mainly is the stripes or strips I'm cutting. And I'm just grabbing some different size blacks and whites, the tealy green color, light and dark, and some text. Some pink ones. I don't end up using this number one. The tealy blue in it is too blue, not green enough for me, so I don't end up using that one. A couple pinks. And now I'm looking for another black, and I'm going to go with that polka dot. Now, I thought I might use some washi, but I don't end up using it. I'm going to attach the photos together in a clump and put some tissue paper around it. Not going to wrinkle it up. I guess I am. I forgot I did that. I want it to be really close and tight. I don't really need a lot of texture there. I'm going to get them how I want and just give them a couple staples and glue it all down so I have one unit to be moving around. Now this is sped up quite a bit because laying these out really seemed to take a while. I thought once there was too many corners, so I backed it all with one sheet of paper from a pad I got from Michael's out of the dollar section. It's just wood grain. That just gave me a square to work from instead of all the angles of the layers. I lay these out and they're just kind of random. I don't want two colors next to each other if I can help it. I don't want the edges to be the same. That is a piece of vellum from Webster's. I thought it needed a little bit of softness. It was looking a little dark to me. So they got green trees on them, like tealy trees, and I just cut it up just so I wanted the color and the softness of the vellum. And so I don't want to leave any odd little gaps, so I overlap probably a little bit more than what Eileen did on hers. The brads, I cut the backs off with a jewelry snip. I'm just showing you that. I'm picking 3 different brads. I'm just going to cluster them up on the top of that photo. Three different sizes. I'm going to figure out if this is how I want them, and I'm debating. I'm going to try to glue them down just a little bit. Oh, nope, I lied. I'm going to do the title first. Then I'm going to glue them down. Just going to go with Best Friend in that font. Now I do end up having to use extra adhesive on the letters. I don't know if it's because of first putting them on the wax paper or not, because they seem to be sticky enough, but I just don't want them to fall off, so I use extra adhesive when I end up putting them down. And then I'm going to go with the Daily Flash for girls. My whole goal is I want the girls to nestle in the height of the B and the T in best. I'm going to stack the title. So I wanted to have a font that was really tight. So that's a nice, tall, tight font. Now that I have that figured out,
I was dreading this part. That's why I did the title next. I wanted to make sure that that would still work with the height. I'm going to take a photo, but I don't end up using the photo, and the top doesn't end up staying like that because I got a little lazy for what I was doing. They kind of went cattywampus on me, but it'll all work out in the end. I didn't want too much adhesive because I didn't want to gum up my needle on my thing. See, I just struck that. I was like, no, I can't do that again. We're going to lay them back out after I put adhesive down, and I'm just going to lay them on. I'm not sure if this was faster or better, but I didn't think the way I did it the first time worked all that well. So, and I'm going to go over and sew them. There we go. They're sewed. Zigzag and straight stitch, just kind of randomly. I'm going to lay that back on. I'm going to place those. Splatter first in pink, and I'm going to do a black, both Heidi Schwab Color Shine. I need to get a new paper towel. That one's a little low, but I didn't want them to be wet. Got a little bit on the vellum, and it never will dry on the vellum, so try to wipe that up really well. Overall, this came together really quick after I got the strips decided on. Just going to put a dot on the back of it. I roll it up if it's too wide on the backs of those. And it stays pretty well. I cut that one in half for the tiny one. I so much like doing this with brads as opposed to trying to poke holes. Now I'm thinking I need to put journaling, so I'm going to get a tag. I just don't know where I'm going to put it, so I think. And I move around, and that looks like the perfect spot. Set the title. Sorry about my head. I moved my camera, and I ended up, it's too far forward on my desk, so I have to lean too far over. I cut some of the headshots out because my head got really in the way in a lot of places. The premise of this layout is that Ruby is the chocolate lab, and she's my daughter's dog. My daughter and her are pretty tight. They sleep together. She takes her for walks, and basically Ruby is Megan's dog. Megan is going to be leaving for college, and as busy as Megan gets, Ruby gets pretty lonely. So I'm not sure how either one of them are going to handle Megan going off to school. I've been instructed by Megan that I'm going to have to text her a picture of Ruby every single day, but we'll see how that works. I'm going to grab some minty green twine and just tie it in a bow. Cut the tails. Now I drew lines with pencils, and I'm going to write the journaling out, but I end up running out of space, so I need more space for journaling, so I'm going to put the tag in and see how far I can stick it out and make it look proper. And it's, I don't have the layout in front of me, so I can't tell you exactly what it says, but just basically, you know, I'm going to say kind of what I said about, I don't know how they're both going to handle Megan going off to college. I'm not sure who's going to miss who most. And I think that'll work, so I'm going to write over it with my, I think I'm using just a pigment liner in 0.5. And erase the pencil lines. Get rid of all the eraser boogers. This ends up being layout, I believe 55. And that does it. I want to thank you for watching, and I will be showing the other layouts that were done with this Chinese Whisper when I can. But thank you.